Hello, Myra.
Hi,
Thanks for being here.
you're welcome.
Are you nervous?
A little.
No, girl, you don't need to be nervous. Look at you. I would think that you might have been more nervous a few months ago when you weren't feeling very well. Let's talk about that. What was
Yeah.
going on? What was going on a few months ago?
Well, I feel that I've kind of hit my rock bottom at that point. I was tired. I was in pain for a lot of years. I've had insulin resistance since my 20s. Um, and I've been diagnosed with all psoriatic arthritis. Um, One doctor said, well, we'll just call it fibromyalgia. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
So
whatever.
I was just tired of being sore and sick. And I thought, I have to do something for myself. I'm taking care of everybody else all the time. It was time to take care of myself.
And you were diagnosed with type 2, right?
Yes.
And that
Yes.
was, when was that? How many years
Well,
ago?
I was diagnosed in my early 20s
Okay.
with um, hypoglycemia, low sugars. So I was told eat very frequently, but I wasn't taught what to eat. That gives a whole lot of habits that are hard to break. My doctor at that time told me you will be diabetic. He said there's nothing that I could do about it. My whole family had type 2 diabetes right through, um, but never taught me or told me how I could prevent
Hmm.
becoming the full type 2 diabetic. So in my 30s, I started on metformin. And then probably my late 30s, I went on insulin.
Hmm.
And I've been trialing different medications and insulins for years. And when I went to him and he said, well, now you need to have a short acting insulin and a new medication, I was like, oh no, I got to do something else.
Yeah, and the bad news with that is that they keep just always giving you more medications, and the
Yeah.
medications don't heal. They treat, and
Mm-hmm.
it's the underlying root cause, which is what you're learning all about, right? The underlying root cause is never fixed. So it keeps
Mm-hmm.
getting worse. And that's kind of what you were going through. And then when you have all this inflammation, which you had, still having, working through that, it
Mm-hmm.
causes so much of that pain and suffering. And then the doctors don't know what to call it. So they call it fibromyalgia. It's just like,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to demean that because that is the thing, but it,
No.
it, it is inflammation. That's what pain is. And
Mm-hmm.
we have to learn how to, um, you know, combat and get rid of that imbalance. So fast forward, I mean, you've only been doing this anti-inflammatory work for a few months. So how has it improved for you?
My pain has definitely improved, definitely. Um, there's some detours you take, and at those points when I've taken these detours that aren't benefiting me, the pain comes back, and I realize, oh, wait, now this is what's causing it. I have to go back to what I was doing. That's been a good lesson for me.
Mm.
Um, I have a lot of years to break this cycle,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
definitely, it's definitely helped the pain. It's definitely helped me feel more confident that I can do it because I've tried lots of different. I've done the Weight Watchers, I've done the Diabetic Association diets, I've done Noom, I've done all kinds, and nothing has worked.
Mm. Yeah, and this is what I want to say before I show the graphic because it really is amazing what you've done in such a short period of time. But I do want to say that, most of the clients that come into the academy have had type 2 diabetes or insulin resistance or inflammation, weight loss resistance for years. And if it's
Mhm.
if it's in your body for years and years and years, you're not going to get rid of it in 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. It's going to take a long time to get rid of it. But the problem is that most people when they've had something that's happened, that's been going on for a long time, if they don't get the result in like a week, they're like, okay, it's not working. That's not the case. And you're just proof that you do this work. And even though you might not see a huge result in a week or 2 weeks, after
Mhm.
4 months, you do, because you keep doing the work. And girl, I just want to show you this, but this is amazing. 21 pounds. And you have been unable to lose weight for a long
Mhm.
period of time. And in 4 months, you're
Yep.
down 21 pounds, 30 inches. You are off of,
Mhm.
you're on half doses now of your medications, which is huge for you.
Yep.
And you're down
Yep.
2 sizes. When you look at that,
Yep.
what does that feel like?
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's still shocking to me because I'd worked so hard. Um, my friends, we'd be going to the gym, they'd be losing their weight. I wouldn't be. Um, I gave my food journals to Weight Watchers and they said, I don't know why you're not losing weight. So to see those pictures, it's still, I still don't believe it.
Yeah. Well, and now you know the why. Like I was
Yeah.
just talking to Teresa, who we just interviewed, and she also kind of went over this. But when I teach you the why, like why aren't you losing weight? There's always a reason. Why do you have symptoms?
Mhm.
Why? What's the why? Why can't you have this? Why can't you? Why shouldn't we be eating it? When you understand the why, that empowers you, and we know why you weren't
Yeah.
losing. When you're
Yeah.
injecting insulin and you have so much insulin in your body, which is what's
Mhm.
happening when you have to inject insulin.
Yeah.
And when you can reduce the need for that insulin, which reduces inflammation, and then it gives your body a chance to lose the fat.
Mhm.
That's why you're losing.
Yeah.
And when you understand that, it's like, oh, okay, bring it. Let's go. Let me continue doing this work, right?
Yeah. I had broken my arm and I was in the hospital, and stress is a really big trigger for my sugars.
Mm-hmm.
And they had me on a sliding scale in the hospital. And when I left the hospital, I said, I was talking to my doctor and I asked him, now, how do we get off this insulin that they put me on? He said, no, you're on it now. You may as well stay on it. So that was about 5 years ago.
Wow.
Mhm.
That must have been hard to hear, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. But then listening to my doctor from years ago, my other doctor who said, you will be diabetic. At the time, I was kind of like, okay, well, everyone in my family is diabetic. I guess this is the way it goes. I'm following the exact same path as my mother and my aunts, but I'm seeing them get very sick too. So it's
Yeah.
like, no, I got to fix this somehow.
Yeah. And diabetes is reversible. Bottom
Hmm.
line, it is. It's
Hmm.
reversible. And so for any doctor that says you'll never be able to reverse your diabetes. I mean, type 1 isn't. But if
Hmm.
you're not a type 1, there is a chance you can reverse diabetes. Everybody's different, right? It might take months, it might take years. But you're in this for the long haul. You're in this so that you can continue to heal your body on a cellular level and can continue
Hmm.
to, get off your medications and lose the weight and feel better. I mean, think about where you were only 4 months ago. Chronic pain,
Yeah.
you know, 21 pounds heavier.
Yeah. Tired all the time, couldn't breathe. I got diagnosed with asthma, which I'm not taking my puffers anymore. That's new.
Yeah, so look at the improvements.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just am so happy for you because I know that, you know, there's some people that it does take a little longer to get the results, right? And I mean, these are
Hmm.
great results. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about like reversing it. When I
Yeah.
say results, I'm mostly talking about reversing diabetes because the longer you've been on insulin, the longer you've had diabetes, the more you have to just kind of stay consistent. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about like when you're inside the program and you're doing this work, how have you been able to stay committed to doing this work? Because, there's days it can be very challenging. What has been the key for you
Challenging.
to be able to, continue moving forward and continuing to do the work so that you can get these amazing results?
I enjoy the camaraderie of
Mhm.
sitting in and talking to the other ladies or even just listening to them. I'm usually quiet in the background, but listening to what they're struggling with and dealing with, and something that I might not think to ask, might not think it's a problem, but then I'm listening to somebody else say it and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm dealing with that too.
Mm.
And it helps to be able to sign in. And I mean, you can sign in a couple of times a week. It's not like, oh, I have to wait until Thursday to do that. If you have the time, you can sign in more often, and that makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm. What are you most proud of?
To actually be able to do it, to actually have done it, to see that picture, it's like, yeah, and to continue on.
Why did you think you weren't able to do it, do you think?
Just all the different stuff that I had tried, and they were the wrong things for me to try. They didn't work for me. And it was when I did the camp, I thought, because I had been following your free page for a while, and I thought, no, I'm going to try the camp. That's a good way to get in there and see what's going on. And when I did, it's like, okay, this isn't one of the gimmicks that you see. This is real. And the information just kind of struck something in my brain. And I said, you know what, I need to try this. I need to go into the academy and figure out if this is something that'll work for me. And it did.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about camp because we have a camp coming up here in a few weeks. And
Mhm.
when you were at camp, would you say that you had a lot of aha moments at camp and you learned a lot? What was the biggest takeaway from camp?
Oh my gosh, I don't know if there was one big takeaway, but there was a lot of things where I said, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because you see a lot of stuff online and you hear a lot of stuff, and you're not always sure if that's real, or like the other diets that you might see online and stuff. But all the information was backed up. You backed everything up so that you could see that this is real information. It's not just something that was pulled out of the air. And that's what made me continue on, because it was, I kept thinking to myself, this is real. It's not just a gimmick.
Yeah, I really appreciate you saying that, Myra, because the one thing I want to just really encourage women to do is to take a chance on themselves by coming to this camp so that they can understand the why. I'm a teacher.
Mhm.
I want to empower women. I don't want to give them a bunch of things that they have to do that they can't learn how to do themselves, right? It's like I want to just help them to understand, because with understanding comes motivation. With understanding
Yep,
comes empowerment,
definitely. Mhm.
and
Yeah. And you
I
are good.
well, thank you, but and I get it. It's like there's so many things in the world that are gimmicky, and oof, I just that I would never want to be known for a gimmick. That's, but I get it. It's like at first when people learn about me or in the group, they think, oh, this is a gimmick, maybe at first, but when you truly get to know me, and I give free classes in the group every single week. I give so
Yeah.
much information for free, and people can just come to camp and they can take it to the next level. The next level is camp. I mean that for these women in here, and you did that, and like you said, you learned a lot and you understood the why, and the why is so important because the why is what gets you to take the next step.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm just so proud of you, Myra. You have a very stubborn case of insulin resistance for sure. But what I do know is that these results are showing that it is going to, we are going to heal it, and you're on your
Mhm.
way. And I just can't wait for the day when we do this interview again and we can say that you're off all your medications and you reversed your diabetes. That's going to be a beautiful day.
I can't wait either.
Any closing words that you'd like to say to the ladies who are watching and are maybe on the fence about taking the next step to improving their health?
Take the chance. I was skeptical for a lot of years watching the Facebook group, but take the chance on yourself. It's real. And Terry, you've been through it, so you know what people are thinking, and you've helped so many people that if these new ladies take the chance on themselves, you'll be able to help them.
Thank you, Myra. Appreciate your time. You're amazing. Beautiful.
You're welcome. Thank you.